Yerp, this is all my cool J, and welcome to Technovore. Now, if you're going, I'm an herbivore, please get the fuck off my page. Like, right now. Like, seriously. Get out. Now, before you leave, make sure you hit that like button. Alright? Got it, Chief? And then, shut the fuck up, forever. Now, back to Technovore. If you're going like that idiot probably just referenced, I'm an herbivore, I'm an omnivore, or that could be like your mom and be a carnivore, which is basically a person that likes to put wild meat in their mouth. But that's besides the point. We're talking about technovore. Now, a technovore is basically, well, tech is a good word I'm basically mentioning right now. It has to do with technology. A technovore is technically a technology parasite. Now, stay with me. We're going to get into all this shit right now. And if you know what a technovore is, if you heard it before, then you kind of like know the direction I'm going and the route I'm about to take this to. So everybody else, just stay with me. Now, the whole point about what I'm about to talk about, it started off because of a work day that I had. Now, at my job, I work in an office. We have certain rules. I break a lot of rules. And my boss, if you're hearing this, I really break a lot of rules, so there's nothing you can do about it. A rule that they just decided to enforce again, and it took me like about a year to start bending that rule, to fully break that rule, was the no cell phones at your desk or around your job. Because I work with very case-sensitive, important information shit. And back in the day when I first started, if you had a cell phone on your desk or you had a cell phone near any patient information, because I work for a hospital, they would fire your ass on the spot. I know I have 3 friends that applied for the job. They went to go do their thing. They had their cell phones out, and they got their asses fired that same day. Now, it goes with me saying, they're enforcing this rule now. Had to take that deep pause. They're enforcing this rule now, and the reason they're enforcing it is because, well, let's not get into all of that. They're just enforcing this rule, and I'm somebody that likes to find loopholes. As I just stated, like I was bending rules to like fully break them, and I'm doing it again right now. Now, when they gave this rule, it was like, all right, they just don't want to see the phone, right? But this is 2017, like. My bosses right now, they're basically dinosaurs. Like, I'm from that generation where we grew up learning to adapt. When I was like 5 years old, not 5 years old, what am I joking? I feel like one of those guys now. Like, you know, when I was 5 years old, I had 2 jobs. Nah, let me correct this. When I was probably in the 4th grade, which is at 9 years old, I was taking computer classes that were basically adjusting me to what they knew was coming, and they wanted me to change with the curve, or what's that phrase? Like go with the wave. It was whatever term it is. They just wanted my generation to be the ones that adapt easily, and like teach the older generation or teach the younger generation, whatever. Right? That's my generation. Now, my boss, if you're listening to this, my bad. I don't know your age. She's like, I want to say 40-ish? Don't want to say 50? Oh shit, if she listens to this, catch that right up. Yeah, she's old, basically. That's basically what I'm saying. So, she's not really up to date with the new technology. She probably knows Facebook and does random updates, you know, the usual shit, like mad photos for no fucking reason. So, she's not up with the current of the date shit like these young, like my semi-young ass, or like even younger people, right? So when they dropped this rule, I'm like, all right, I could get the Samsung Gear 3 watch. Now if you're going, Samsung Gear 3 watch, why would he have that? Why doesn't he have an iPhone? Fuck you. That's why. I like Android. Now, with this watch, I could basically go online. I could go online, buy things. I could check out my social media. I could update my Twitter, my Instagram, my Facebook, or I could just do wild shit. I could take a picture with it and call it a day. I could like pay things on this stupid watch. And that's how much technology has changed. Where she's from the era, right, Like, to break it down, even for my younger audience, she's from the era where her phone was connected to a wall. It was just a wire that goes to a wall, and she didn't even have a touchpad in the beginning. She had a rotary dial, so she had to go. She had to dial like a number. She'd be like 9. Oh, here's 9, 1, 7. So it's kind of like that, as opposed to beep beep boop boop boop. Just touch dial shit. All right, so she's not up to game. She's not up to the game like that. It would take her quite a while to figure out why I'm always on my goddamn watch and looking at the time. And also, when I'm on my phone, I'm really just listening to other people's podcasts. I'm listening to my music, so I'm rocking out. Now, as I just stated, she's old. People around me are old. They got these new AirPods. Fuck you, Team iPhone. I know I could have said something else, but I can't remember it off the top of my mind. But AirPods are the next wave. If you don't know what an AirPod is, I don't know what the hell. I'm surprised you even know about my podcast, to be honest with you. But AirPods are basically, they're the real deal wireless headphones. So I could rock out like that. So this is basically, this whole thing that I'm mentioning right now, this whole rant. If you're still with me, congratulations. But this is basically what I'm talking about. My old ass, instead of going, you know what, boss? Cool. Got it. And just going on with the regular, I just thought of ways to still keep in touch with my technology and always be on my technology, which made me think of an article that I read a couple of years back where people get anxiety when they're not next to their phones, when they're not on their social media. And I was like, yo, that's so fucking stupid. And now, fast forward to that day, and I'm like, holy shit, I just became one of those people. And it's wild. Also, what inspired this conversation, and this took place 2 weeks ago. I was with Craft King Kev and my boy Carlos. Now, FBI, Fed, CIA, whoever you guys are, Donald Trump. Now, if you guys are listening, I got all this information from my friend Carlos. I told you I was going to say your name on this podcast. Now, they were talking about these cogs, right? They were asking what a cog is. Well, you got me fucking stumped too, because I didn't really fact check any of this shit like that. I'm just going off of what I remember. Now, they found this cog in the ocean. Well, I did look up a little, but stay with me here. They found this cog, which basically looks like, how can I say this? It looks like a floppy disk tray. Like, it's just wild, right? So that's what they're gonna say about our computers, or my computers that I grew up on. They'll be like, oh, what the fuck is this primitive shit? But what makes it not primitive is that they found this cog, which was basically the first analog computer, which is what they were saying, right? And it basically looks like a gear, and it's just wild, right? Now, that ocean cog that I just mentioned, it goes all the way back to 60 BC. Yeah, I believe it's 60 BC. Was found on a Roman boat, and it's just a piece. It's not the whole piece. It's not the whole master frame. It's not all of that, which technically tends to happen, because why would you reveal the whole shit? Now, I just said it was 60 BC, and we're in 2017 AD, so you do the fucking math. Now, as I just stated, I'm old, so I can tell you when computers really started making moves like that. It was 60s, 70s, alright? So we're talking about 60 BC. We didn't get ill with this shit till like the 2000s and up, alright? So you're telling me that we found like that, which could possibly be the first analog computer in 60 BC in a Roman boat. And like I just said, I didn't really fact check, but I remember some shit that I read off the internet. And the boat belonged to like some chick that was about to get married, but it magically didn't make it there. Now that's one of the cogs I'm talking about right now. This podcast wasn't even this episode wasn't even almost called Technovore. Yeah, Technovore, or did I just say Technovore? I don't know, I'm really off. But let's keep it moving. Yeah, it almost wasn't called Technovore. I almost called it Gears of War, but I don't feel like being sued by a gaming company, so let's keep it moving. Now, there was the Cog. Carlos told me about this today too, so I found it interesting and I looked it up. And this cog predates dinosaurs. I think they're saying it goes back to 300 million years or some shit like that. Man, I am not a scientist. I can't even tell you when dinosaurs were around. Now, if this is true, that's some wild shit. And with the article that I was reading, it said that this cog was found in Russia. It predates dinosaurs, which I just said. And it was made out of a material that's not even around no more like that, or at least it's not in its purity anymore. So that's pretty fucking wild. So that brings me back to technology. All of this is basically summing up why I'm even recording this. Now, as I stated in my last podcast, if you're not going to be entertained, then you're going to learn some shit while you're here. Do you know that some bugs, like the flea, are born with mechanical cogs? Yeah, I bet you didn't. Congratulations. Now, back to the story. Now, this whole Technovore shit got me thinking. It has me thinking, like I just stated, I'm not that young. I can tell you, like, the huge drastic changes of technology. The way I grew up, we had this big ass computer, and we would type like we would do like speed typing so we could keep up with regular secretaries in the fourth grade. And then it evolved. Now, I have a niece. She's 5 years old. She knows how to use the computer. Like, well, not the technical, like, computer, but she knows how to use an iPad. She knows how to look things up. And she was doing this since she was probably 2 or 3 years old. So she was already ahead of the curve, way more than my ass was. And then she's more ahead of the curve than any old person like my dad that still don't know how to use a goddamn computer. And it's just amazing. And I never thought of it until I started researching for this recording of how dependent like we've become on technology. And when I say we, I mean us as a fucking human race. And it's pretty amazing. And it's pretty scary. And the reason I say it's a parasite is because, well, let me get back to that. Let me hold up on that a little bit more. But it's just like I went from like I just stated, I keep saying this, I feel like I'm fucking running and ranting, but I'm from the age where I used to go out and play. I used to use my imagination. I used to go play basketball. I used to go play manhunt, hide and seek, red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, tag, all this cool shit. And now I kind of look at my niece and I see my cousin's kids, and they're a little bit outdoorsy, and I see kids like their age, and it's like a lot of them don't even go out no more. It's wild. I talk to other parents, and they tell me the same shit that's going on over here in my household, which is these kids will buy toys and watch people on the internet play with them. So it's just weird. Technology, as much as it made it easier, it did cripple us in a certain way. So let's get into this whole rant. Now, Roswell. Now, if you ask me anything about Roswell, I can't really tell you shit about it. But all I can tell you is that I've talked to a lot of conspiracy theorists. And I watched a lot of Men in Black. Shout out to Will Smith. I see you. Literally, I see you. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is my shit. Now, Roswell, everybody feels there was aliens. And it led us to improving our lifestyle and really getting a hold of grasp of technology. I don't know, I think somebody said a motherboard, something like that. I really don't know. But yeah, they always keep making references to this, like, yo, an alien crash landed or something like that. And then we seize the technology that we have, and that's why we have microwaves. Now they can basically record you when you're cooking, when you're preheating your day-old Chinese food. So it's pretty fucking wild. Now, can you imagine that? Like, let's look past the alien shit. Let's just think about the technology. What kind of shit could have been on that spacecraft besides shit that flies? It's just like, was there like laser rays? Like, how do we get Oh, maybe did I just make a connection right there? I think I just sparked something. Maybe the laser rays produce like a radiation ray, and boom, we got microwaves. Yeah, I think that might be it right there. Case closed. I just solved the case. Bam. Now, if you ask me if that's true, I don't know. I kind of got mixed feelings with it because I think we should be a little bit more out there, way more advanced than we are right now. Like, I remember seeing Back to the Future, and they said around this time that we're in right now, 2017, the only thing that we got right was the Cubbies won a World Series, I believe, but we still do not have flying cars. You know what we do have instead? Unlimited videos of cats and spinners. Fidget spinners? Yeah, that's... We're not that ahead right there right now, so... I don't know, I'm kind of like 50-50 on that one. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the rise of the machines. Now, I know it sounds like some Terminator shit, but as I just stated, I've kind of seen like the birth of all this stuff. Like, I remember the Nokia brick phone, and now we're up to phones that are as flat as a nail filer, and not that much bigger either. So it's pretty wild. I've seen same thing with TVs. These TV nowadays have like they basically have an IQ higher than most people and shit. I can like stream like 3 different things. That I could be like listening to music, I could be updating my Facebook or watching kitty porn in the corner. Don't ask me about my bestiality. Shit happens. Even down to these cars. These cars can now drive themselves. They can't fly yet, but they can park themselves. They have some cars, they have apps where the car can go to you in your location. I believe that's Lexus. Cut me a check, please. Now, I remember when beepers were like a huge thing, and even flip phones, the StarTech Motorola's, and then came the Sidekicks, and now we basically have many little computers in our hands that hold basically the world, and we still take it for granted. Just like Louis C.K. said, it's never good enough, it's never fast enough, it's just a piece of shit. This miracle that we have in our freaking hands that could give us all the information in the world, we still take for granted and look up dumbass world star videos. But this is the world we live in today. Technology has evolved and we're dependent on it, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like a parasite. Like, we're the host, and without us, it doesn't evolve. And the whole reason why I'm saying this is because I've seen Ghost in the Shell, which we'll get to a little bit later, but it just blows my mind because it's just like, yo, we might be heading there soon. And if you didn't see Ghost in the Shell, or you didn't see like the original anime one, then you're missing out because it's pretty dope. Now, I've read an article, as I just stated, smartphones are cool, and I read an article about smartphones and how they're probably going to be outdated and we're going to have some cooler shit. It's like, we won't even have phones no more. Now, I've seen an ad for this. I don't know if it was ever real. It was like a wristband that projects your phone onto your arm. Now, I don't know how you're making phone calls or taking pictures and shit like that, but it looked pretty dope. I guess it was like a prototype for like the Apple Watch or whatever, and they said, nah, wristband would be stupid. This doesn't make sense. We're gonna go down another route. Now, they're saying that phones might be outdated. So what else would we have? Because the latest thing that I've seen on technology, besides the Oculus shit, which is really for games, is the Google Glasses, which is pretty dope because you could just take pictures by blinking or something like that. As I remember it, I'm not 100% sure on it. But yeah, you could take pictures, you could record, you could Google shit right on your glasses. Nobody even knows that they're like Google Glasses. Everybody just thinks they're regular glasses, so that was like a huge step, but they never really pulled the trigger on that, and I felt like that would have been the next real technological breakthrough. So it brings me back to my previous argument, which I was thinking about Ghost in the Shell. I think we are all going to body modification, and the only reason I even think that's plausible is because of what's going on in Sweden, where they're inserting a microchip on you for work purposes. Now, if you bring that shit to me at my job, I'm gonna tell my boss to shove it up your ass. I apologize if you're listening to this again, but I'm just keeping it real. Like, I'm not inserting any kind of microchip. It's bad enough I walk around with a phone that tracks my GPS movements all the time. And now let's get back. Should I add that into this podcast? Should I go into this quick rant? Now, people call it the mark of the beast, right? I'm not that religious. I can't really give you the whole spiel on that. I've kind of want y'all, if you're like a deep religious person, please comment, please let me know, DM me. It's cool. I would like to know why it's considered that. But the same people claiming that it's the mark of the beast because it's a body modification. You're walking around with a cell phone that I just stated tracks your every movement. You have a Facebook, which you probably check into. And then you do update statuses, which you give away how you're feeling, what you're going through. 9 times out of 10, there's a fucking girl complaining about her man. What's new there? But that's the way it normally goes. You got an Instagram where you take pictures. You're constantly giving an updated picture of yourself. So it's kind of like already in the government's database. Like, all right, this person has a new haircut, so this is what they look like now. Please update it. And then you got Twitter. Fucking Twitter. I love Twitter. I'm new to Twitter. Follow me. Oh, Michael J. But Twitter is just fucking wild. It just lets you kick out where you stand. And it's either you're with the right or with your left, or you're with the left. And it's like so divided. It's amazing. And then you have Snapchat, which Instagram's getting the fuck out of here pretty soon because they're just basically ripping off every idea that Snapchat has. But Snapchat basically how can I say this? It's a face configuration. They fucking study your face out of stupid bunny ears to your fucking picture. And like, we're all cool with that. We all gave that up. Back in the day, people were fighting for that shit not to do it. But yeah, alright, let's wrap this up. Mark of the Beast. You might not have it on you, but you're still rolling around with the beast. Now, back to this microchip. America kind of wants to like do this too, but like with everyday life. Like, oh, I don't have my wallet on me. Let me swipe my chip so I can pay this bill. So they're gonna eventually bring it here, but it's gonna be crazy. I'm probably gonna resist it until I'm forced to adapt, kind of like I had to do a couple of times. Like, it's just weird, but yeah, body modification is gonna be wild. I want you to really think about body modification. If you're with me right now listening to this and you're this far into the podcast, then I want you to close your eyes. If you saw Ghost in the Shell, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. I want you to close your eyes and picture Scarlett Johansson in a bodysuit. That's all you got to do. You sold me. Let's get the modifying. Now, as I said, if you didn't watch it, if you did watch it, it's just there. Like, basically what I'm talking about is in this movie, people were changing parts. Like, this guy lost his eyes, and like they gave him some thermal optics. They gave him like inverted zoom. They gave him all this crazy shit for new eyes, and it was just wild. They had like a little triad gang in there too, and I don't know what the fuck was the point of their modifications, but they had like iron clamp jaws. It was just crazy shit, and I kind of see that people in this world would do that shit because I see there's body modification going on right now. It's those weird people. I apologize if you listen to this. You guys are cool, especially if you're listening to me. But it's the people that like, technically ear piercings are a body modification, like, you know, nipple rings, belly rings. like 7 fucking piercings in your ear. That technically is a body modification, but the weirdos are the ones with the gauges and the ones that add horns, and they just do all this wild shit. Those are the people that probably end up going to put a goddamn iron clamp on their goddamn jaw. Now, where does it stop? That's where I'm asking. Like, where would you stop? Seriously, if you got fucking upgrade your body, if you could get rid of your legs and put like some titanium legs that make you run faster, same thing with your arms, would you do it? If you could swap out your eyes to get like something more wild, would you do it? Like, where are you stopping? If you could make your brain smarter and make it process shit faster, would you do it? And this movie that I keep saying is pretty much on point. And then I think about it from my point of view, all the wild, stupid shit that would go on and be wrong with it. Like, if you ask me, I would modify my whole body except for my penis, because I still want to feel when I fuck bitches. I'm just keeping it real. Like, yo, they're gonna be upset, but guess what? You better modify your vagina to something better. Now, I also think, because I might give away a plot. Spoiler alert. I don't know, that's my first time ever doing this. Now, they have hacking. People modify their brains. If you follow Old Man Logan, that's another comic book thing, then you would know that people can modify their brains too, just like they do in Ghost in the Shell. So imagine you could store your emails. You get email notifications right in your retinas, right? Now, you open it, guess what? It's a fucking glitter bomb, or it's like an email bomb, or it's just like, what's those videos that they play? I be catching people all day on Facebook with them, where it just looks like a normal video, and then it just turns into like porn audio of a bitch getting fucked. It's like, imagine you're in the subway and you get that email from somebody, and like everybody is like, yo, what the fuck is going on with him? Why does he keep covering his ears for? Or better yet, because we're pretty much fucked up now, I'm like, TVs and computers are basically made, what they said, for video games and porn, right? So we stepped it up now to a whole nother creep level because of social media, and now we just send dick pics. Now, ladies, I want you to, well, don't imagine it, because you probably get it now. Imagine you're like walking, you see a guy in the subway terminal, you make accidental eye contact with him, and you know what he does? He blinks his eyes and sends you a dick pic and just fucks up your whole day. Or better yet, you send that dick pic to like the wrong person, like your friend or your mom or some shit, and then you gotta explain that shit. That's horrible. That's one of the cons that I feel that would be with body modification, if you're able to easily access somebody else's shit like that. Now, on this subject, people often ask, is technology a virus? And as I just stated, yes, it is a virus. Now, is it a code? Can you commonly get rid of it? No, it's going to be around forever. I think the way life is going right now, the shit that this government has in store, the world has in store, people have in store, it's not that long before we and technology become one. Like, really think about it. Like, if you're glued to your phone right now, if you're listening to this podcast, you can only listen to this shit via computer, which is basically a laptop, an iPad, or your phone. You can only find me on YouTube and SoundCloud, so you do need a computer to come find me. Now, if you're holding on to this, you're living proof that it might be a virus, because you can't put your phone down for shit, because once you take the virus away, the host might actually die. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, there are fucking studies that I just stated earlier that people get anxiety if they're apart from their phone. People break up over their phone, mostly because they're cheating, but it's still over a phone. It was used to be much more easier back in the day when you could just send a note anonymously, cut out letters from like a magazine and shit, make it look real serial killerish, but just to get this note off and not get traced back. Now we got phones which have secret compartments to hide shit if you're smart about it. If you have fingerprint recognition, you got retina recognition. It's just like we're kind of like handing ourselves over here and nobody's seeing it. But it's crazy. I think technology is a virus and there's no escaping it, like, at all. Now, what I want to know is what everybody else wants to know, and my conspiracy theorists want to know, is when will it become self-aware? When will it notice it's an entity? We're back to that Terminator shit. Like, imagine the shit. Like, imagine your toaster gets tired of your shit and like tries to kill you and just shoots out like burnt bread that's like sharp for some magical reason, and it tries to like catch your throat. Like, it's only a matter of time. Everything eventually figures out what it is, and hey, when it does, will we go to war? Because if so, I'm siding with Skynet, because it just makes any goddamn sense. Now, when I say I'm siding with Skynet, I mean I'm willing to kind of sound like a sellout right now. And like, it's kind of conflicting, but then I seen Terminator and I seen what Skynet can do. If it could turn me into the last Terminator, then yo, we cool, chief. But yeah, me walking around like, I would actually I actually wouldn't mind walking around like 88 Arnold Schwarzenegger, all buffed out and shit. Yeah, the last Terminator, he was kind of fat. Yeah, I have issues. I have standards. If you're gonna make me to a robot, I gotta be fit. I gotta look the part, goddammit. You're not gonna have me out here looking crazy. Like, oh no, we have to make you fat so you can fit in. Fuck you, hit me with some lipo, bastard. Now, yeah, AI is technically on the brink. Will it bite the hand that feeds him? Will it go against his master? I don't know. We tend to treat people like shit. That's kind of a humanity thing. Like, we treat people that we love like shit. If we treat people that we love like shit, what the fuck are we gonna treat technology like? They got that, what's that shit called? They have this robot that can walk. It's its own self-sufficient robot that can walk. And you know how they treat this machine? Every time they see it, they kick the shit out of it to tip it over so it can fix itself and get up. That's abuse. Now, it's just crazy with it. And it's just like, yeah, we're gonna treat it like shit. It's gonna get self-aware and it's gonna say fuck us, and some shit might pop off. So, I don't know. This is basically everything I have to say about Technovore. Now, Technovore, if you know anything about Technovore, then you know it's another comic book phrase, and it has to do with technology being a parasite. Now, it came off cool as shit. Like, if you know Iron Man has like the most coolest fucking crazy suits, distribute missiles and like lasers, and he could like check his emails and that shit too. But the Technovore was just like way beyond it. It was like so advanced that Tony really couldn't, like, it wasn't until like that shit went batshit crazy with power that Tony was even able to get a chance to fight it. But other than that, he really didn't have a chance to fight it. He almost got that ass handed to him. But yeah, it's a parasite. That's what Technovore is. I told you, I'll tell y'all what that was. So this is pretty much wrapping up this episode. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed. It's basically Saturday morning. It's 2:05 a.m. that I'm recording this right now for y'all. Hope y'all enjoy. Right now I'm in the midst of writing Fight Club. And Fight Club was... Oh, I didn't really write this one. I just kind of like freestyle it. You'll probably be able to tell. Fight Club might be a little bit freestyle. I'm writing something, and that one's just basically taking place because of my boy Raekwon, Ra of Shaolin, or Ray of Shaolin. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Ra of Shaolin. I think I heard him say it. He won his fight, so it made me think, who would I really want to see fight? And I would give you those names right now, But nah, you're just gonna have to wait till the next podcast drops. Now, this has been the Technovore. I am on my Cool J. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. And that'll be all, bitches. Peace.